Just an easy one off the bat to start with. The makeup of the team for the day-nighters. Everyone's not available. Some of the international commitments will keep a couple of guys out.
Yeah, so Nathan Coulter-Nile's out from the last 11, so that's disappointing, although it's great for him getting ready to play for Australia next week. So we have to decide whether to go for 4 quicks or 3 quicks and a spinner or the extra batsman. All these sort of things come into it, and I guess it changes because it's a day-night game. Our experience is that it's tough to play the seamers under lights. So that's something that we have to take into consideration.
When do you make that call?
Oh, we're pretty close to making it. We'll probably have a look at the wicket in the morning and make the decision in the morning, but we know the 12 now. We've picked the 12, so we'll just work out which way we're going to go in the morning.
Mitch Marsh, what's the situation with him?
Yeah, same thing. Hopefully he's available. There's lots of planning and preparation and science goes into it these days, but he's just off the plane and he's going to play the one-day internationals with Australia. So he and Nathan Coulter-Nile will be preparing for the Australian side during the week.
Is it frustrating having them looking fit and raring to go, but not being able to play in what is an important game?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's frustrating for everyone, but we also know it's a long summer, and we've seen it throughout, through the Champions League, through the whole one-day tournament, trying to manage your bowlers and keep them fresh, knowing what's coming up. It is a real managerial nightmare, to be honest, so I can understand why they're not playing this game.
The pink ball, it's a bit of a talking point at the moment. What do you make of that as a coach, having another change, I guess? Yeah, look, Cricket Australia obviously determined to play a day-night test match, so we've got to work out what the best one is. Having played with a yellow ball and an orange ball, and last year with a pink ball, it's certainly different than playing with a red ball. My take always is that perhaps we could just use the white ball. It's proven if we play test cricket, and I know it's not traditional, and I know it's not traditional to play without white clothes, but having said that, playing a day-night test match isn't necessarily traditional either. So we'll keep experimenting. We're probably not going to put as much. Last year we put a lot of effort and emphasis and thinking into it, and maybe that distracted us a bit. So we keep with our processes. They're working well at the moment, and just realise that it's just a different colour.
You get a new ball after.
Yeah, who knows what they're going to do, but we'll have to, the yellow ball hasn't worked, the orange ball hasn't worked, the pink one they're trialling, so we'll have to wait and see if that works. It wasn't the ideal thing last year.
Do you have to do anything differently batting at night? It probably seems a silly question.
No, it's a very good question, because we've seen. Yeah, no worries, mate. I saw your stats in the paper this morning, so it's obviously more difficult. So one good question in 20 years. It's pretty impressive, that. No, you do. I think it takes more time to adjust to the light anyway, whether you're playing one-day cricket, then adjusting to the pink ball. You've got to. One of our, I guess, philosophies of batting here at the WACA, you've got to be very, very diligent in your first 20 or 30 balls here, probably more so than other grounds. We might have to take that out to 30 or 40 balls, because you've got to be a lot more watchful. The ball's not as clear, there's no doubt about that. It's hard enough to bat at the WACA as it is, let alone with the under lights with a different coloured ball. So that's something that we have to be very diligent on in this game.
What about with the test series coming up? Does this experiment compromise those preparations at all? We've seen Chris Rogers pull out Victoria because he's colourblind.
Oh right, I didn't know that, but yeah, maybe. I'm sure Chris will get plenty of other opportunities. A break might do him the world of good as well. That as sad as that is to say for Australian cricket, that but he's just come back, like Mitchell and Nathan Coulter-Nile, Mitchell Johnson. They'll probably need a bit of a rest. I mean, Chris played the whole season for Middlesex and played the last 2 test matches, so a break might do him the world of good, to be completely frank. Sadly in a Shield game. But yeah, does it compromise? I think it'll still be really good, tough competition. And the other way is if they do play a day-night test match, then hopefully some of our guys that get selected in that test match will at least have experienced it a couple of times.
There's talk that it might be as early as next year a day-nighter in terms of the test match. What do you think about that? Is that a bit too early, or would you like to see a bit more experimentation?
Well, my only take in it, and it's going to happen. Look, we watched the test matches in Dubai, and there wasn't great crowds there, maybe, and we know they also traditionally, in those parts of the world, they work very late and they eat late, and maybe that could work. Test cricket could really work well in those parts of the world where they're not getting big crowds. In Australia, we generally get great crowds to Test cricket. Australians love Test cricket, so but I'll leave that to the administrators.